Video number 15 in the 3D Experience CATIA generative shape design application. Uh, the particular icon that I'm going to be discussing uh, is the multi-section surface, and it's appearing in the playlist that's devoted to the surface tab. And the feature that we will be looking at is the spine feature. Please keep in mind that multi-section surface, along with some other applications or icons in 3D Experience CATIA, such as blend and sweep, are the more complicated icons. I would like to refer to them as some advanced functionalities. This is why there have been about 10 uh, videos on this particular icon multi-section surface in the present playlist. So I'm trying to make small pieces, small videos, but looking at specific features of the icon. And this particular one is called the spine. When you are in the generative shape design, the ribbon at the bottom of the screen looks like what you have here. And if you select the surface tab, this is what you're going to see, and there's access to the multi-section surface. Now, upon uh, selecting that icon, this dialog box opens up, and uh, there is an advanced options here, and this is where things are becoming messy, or I would say more complicated, because the many functionalities and choices that are available uh, by selecting that advanced options. When the advanced option is activated, this bottom portion of the dialog box appears, and one of them is spine, as you can see here. Essentially, the definition of rather simplistic definition of a spine is that it controls the internal shape of a multi-section surface or solid. And it is so that, although this statement is not quite correct, but the computer cross-section of multi-section solid is always perpendicular to spine. It's not that it's not correct. It's just that if you have other selections, such as guides and spine, they may be conflicting each other, and one overrides the other. And that's why when you look at the cross-section, you may not feel this, because it could be that the guide, for example, the guide and the spine were overriding each other. The previous video, number 14, I believe it was on guide. So this one that we're doing now is on spine. I'm taking some of my work from this very good webcast. The only thing is that it was done 5 years ago, and the icons and actually the dialog boxes look, in some cases, quite a bit different from what I'm doing. So I'll make a simple problem. Uh, Let me go ahead and create an act. I can do that in the context of two sections which are parallel to each other on two planes, but I'd rather do it differently. And you might wonder, why is he doing this first step? You'll see in a second. So let me go ahead and create an axis system. And the origin of it, I'll move away from that by about maybe 200 millimeter. So point in the x direction, maybe 200. So this is going to be the origin. And then I want to rotate this thing. I don't want to do another problem where the two sections are parallel to each other. This is why I did it like that. So Euler angle, and lets me make this thing about the z-axis, turn it until I'm happy. Look, it's turning, and then say okay. So the sections that I'm going to draw, one of them is on the vertical plane here, and the other one is on the vertical plane of this axis system. So they're tilted with respect to each other. I could have done it with two being parallel without creating this axis system. But on that plane, on that vertical plane, I will sketch. Let me sketch two things. One is a circle. This is one of the sections, exit. And then on this plane, namely the YZ plane of that axis system, I'll draw a rectangle. So maybe something like this. Dimensions don't matter here. So basically I have two sections which are at angle with each other. There is one, the circle. There is the other one, the rectangle. And if I don't want these planes, I can actually hide them. I don't want to see them, hide them. That this axis system, hide it. Oops, not all axis system. Let me get it back. Okay, good. Now, on to draw my some of the spines that I'm going to take on that horizontal plane, either this one or the XY plane, it makes no difference. I'm going to sketch one curve that looks like this, maybe a straight line. This is going to be one of the spines later on. And then I'm going to do another one on the same horizontal plane. I'll draw another one. This time it's going to be, for example, spline. It has curvature in it. Okay, exit. All right, good. So I have two sketches here, a circle and a rectangle. And I have two curves here, which I'm going to be using as selected spines. I mean, obviously there's a default spine, which is done by the software itself, but later on we're going to come up and use these as two other spines. Okay, so let's see now. Where are we? It's a surface, multi-section surface. Here is one of the sections, and here is the other one. A couple of things you notice here. First of all, notice that for this first section, the closing point is some location there. And for this rectangular one, the closing point is at that location. I want to move this thing to that corner because it's going to look nicer. So which one is it? It was the second one. This is the closing point. This is the second section. That was the closing point. And for that, I want to select this one, this corner point. And notice that they're both going counterclockwise. And if I say preview, what I will see is this multi-section surface based on these two profiles with the default computed spine. See that? Default spine. So preview, it looks like this. Fine, no problem. And by the way, this blue curve that you see here is the default computed spine. And if you look at the sections, essentially the sections as you go from the circle to that rectangle, these sections kind of the section of this, if you look at it as a pipe, for example, remain perpendicular to that blue curve. Now, what I want to do is I want to go to that spine. I select it. This is under advanced options, select the spine. I'm going to change it a little bit. So for example, I use this. I use this as my spine, that one. So select it. Of course, this turns red because it's going to update, and then preview and watch what we have. This is what we had before, and we say preview, it looks like that. Okay, now this becomes the spine. Now suppose, back it, now double click on it. Suppose I change my mind, and instead of this as the spine, I'm going to select this. I select that. And again, it becomes red, it highlights. And if you say preview, assuming that it can use this thing as a spine, because it could be that your spine is something that it actually cannot do it. But assuming that it can, preview, look at what happened. It looks like this. Now, this is different from the original one. It could be different. In fact, let's check it out. I put the cursor here, right click, and I say clear selection. If I clear the selection, it's going to use the default. So default spine, and watch what we've got. If I say preview, let's see if it changes. Yes, it did. This was the default spine. This one with the line as spine, and this one with the that spline as spine. Yep. And that's pretty much it. As a matter of fact, let's do one more thing, and let me select a. I'm going to delete this. Okay, let me select a another section. Let's see how it's going to work out. So, for example, we're going to go to wireframe, plane, offset, for example, from the YZ plane, and let me move it. Move it to some location and draw another profile on it. Okay. On that, I'm going to sketch something else, maybe another rectangle. Exit. So we have three profiles here. Let's do a multi-section surface. So we go to surface, multi-section surface. Okay, let me hide some of the stuff that I don't want. That plane that I created, I want to see it, which was over here. Right. Okay. First section, circle. Second section, this intermediate triangle that I drew. We're going to fix the closing points and things like that so that it makes sense. And the third one is over here. Okay. Let's clean this up. All right, let's see now. Right now, the closing point is over here. So I'm going to change that. This is the second section. I'm going to change it to this. For the third one, the closing point is again that corner. I'm going to change it to that corner. They're all going counterclockwise. So this is the default spine now, default computer. If I say preview, let's see how it looks like. There. Okay, very good. Now let's go and change our spine. For example, I'll go to this section, select it, becomes blue. Let's use the line and see what happens. What I have at the default spine is this thing, this red thing. If say preview, it changed it. If I go here, let's select that fellow as a spine, this curve as a spine, and right now what we have with that line as a spine looks like that. We say preview, it didn't change that much. It didn't change that much. Now I say, okay, let me go and change my spine here. This thing, let's make a bit of a change here. See how it looks like. I mean, you could make this thing so bad that eventually refuses to create. But there we are. Look what happened. At some point, if you bring this thing too far out, probably it collapses upon itself. I'm sure this is going to. Well, this may collapse. No, that's still good. Still good. All right. So that's pretty much it. And good luck. Oh, before I go, I want to remind you once again that each multi-section surface has only one spine. And you can also use guides at the same time, but one may conflict the other one and run into problem. It is better either to use guides or spine. You have more control over it.